Hey there guys, it's Brian here today with the top 10 mind-blowing principles for success by Napoleon Hill. In addition to revealing the 10 principles, I will also be showing you how you can apply them in your life. And the reason why I said mind-blowing is because Napoleon Hill has written a book called Think and Grow Rich, which kind of implies that you can literally think your way to becoming a millionaire. Sounds too good to be true? Well, listen on to find out more as I share the top 10 principles that he shares in his book. Think and Grow Rich, which is like the OG of personal development. Napoleon Hill himself has been credited as the man who invented the self-development genre, the godfather of every other popular self-help guys out there today. To be fair, Napoleon Hill was born on 26th October 1883, so that does indeed make him like a legend as it was way back in the days. He is also considered to be wildly influential as he has worked directly with some of the founding fathers who helped shape America to be where it is today. Big name figures like Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Henry Ford, and Theodore Roosevelt. Alright, so before I dive into the principles themselves, I'll be going through an overview of the book just to give you a gist of what it is really about, and if you can't remember all 10 of them, this is the takeaway that you can walk away with. Okay, so the premise of the book is that Napoleon believes that for you to become a wildly successful person, both in business and your personal life, there are certain principles that you have to follow. And I will say this is very accurate and true because if you observe and study successful people, they all share some common traits which they attribute their success to. For Napoleon, that would be to articulate your specific financial and personal goals. This is your burning desire, and it is about being crystal clear on what your end game is, because everything else that you do is supposed to bring you closer to that. And this is going to be different for everyone. You have to have a high degree of self-awareness and really dig deep down to find out what it is. Because oftentimes we are misled by the media and prevalent social norms like consumerism. It should really be about what you want and not because others think it is cool, so you want it too. Once you are clear on what your burning desire is, then you have to create a plan to achieve your desire. You got to remind yourself of it every day, eliminate all distractions and keep at it until your goal is achieved.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
This is, in essence, what separates most successful people in the world from others. Alright, so principle number 1 is to be specific in your burning desire. This ties in very well with what I mentioned earlier in the overview, in that you have to be very clear on what you want. All successful people have very specific goals for their lives. In fact, this is used in the corporate world of setting SMART goals, where the first S stands for specific. Aside from being specific, the way Napoleon describes burning desire can be pretty esoteric. He shared about a mother who had a deaf boy but refused to raise him like one and instead raised the boy as someone without hearing impairment. She would not let him learn the sign language and he was to lead a normal life. The mother never stopped believing that he was normal, and years later during college, the deaf boy came into possession of an electrical hearing device that finally allowed him to hear like a normal person. Napoleon attributes this to the mother's unyielding burning desire for her son to hear normally, and through that, the universe acknowledged her burning desire and made it real. While there's no way to prove that this was due to the mother's burning desire, I believe Napoleon had discovered the secret elusive ways in how the universe operates. Decades later, now we have things like the law of attraction and synchronicity becoming more popular. My take on this is that I can neither confirm nor deny it because it is something very controversial. What I do know is that there are very interesting things out there like faith healing, or how thoughts and vibrations affect molecular structure of water, which was a research carried out by Japanese scientist and water researcher Dr. Masaru Emoto, where he found that beautiful crystals are formed after water is exposed to words like love and gratitude. On the less controversial side of things, it does make sense that if you have a burning desire for something, it will always be on your mind, and that naturally leads to more ideas on how to achieve it, and subsequently it will lead you to take actions to turn the idea into reality. Alright, so how do you act on this principle? What you want to do is to write down your burning desire, specifically what you want and how you are going to get it. It also helps to remind yourself daily of this burning desire and your plan for it, so you have it somewhere that you can see it daily. make it your phone background wallpaper, or you could also print it out and paste it in your room. Next up is faith. You got to believe in yourself. In order to accomplish great things, you must first believe that it is possible. Napoleon once again goes into the esoteric realm where he states that faith, when blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind picks it up, the vibration, and then transmit it to infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. He then goes on more on the subconscious mind and how having faith will help manifest your burning desire. He also mentions that it is crucial to cultivate positive emotions and eliminate negative emotions. And what we have here sounds very similar to self-fulfilling prophecies and the whole fake it till you make it. Having faith is crucial to overcoming mental barrier, as was shown in history where in the past there were certain running records that were thought to be impossible to break. However, once the record was broken, more and more people started breaking it too. What changed was that the record, which was once thought to be impossible to break, had been broken, and that changed the perception in the runners all over the world, where they now believe it was possible, and so more and more people started doing it. And for this second principle, you can apply it by strengthening your faith and mind. We talk to ourselves in our head countless of times throughout the day, sometimes without even realizing it, and they have a profound impact on how we go about the day and how we view ourselves. What you can do is to be more mindful of the conversations that goes on in your head and encourage positive thoughts and eliminate negative thoughts. You have to be fully convinced that you can do it.
Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
I know this can seem like nonsense to the non-believers, but let me share a personal story of how I walked through hot burning coals without getting my feet burnt or feeling any pain at all. So me being someone that's into personal development, I had the opportunity to attend Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within event a couple of years back, and one of the program was the fire walk, where we had to walk across a path of hot burning coal to prove that we can overcome anything if we put our minds to it. And interestingly enough, the process through which Tony does this is very similar to how Napoleon does it. He made us chant over and over again a certain phrase which says that the burning coal is just a cool patch of moss. And we were to imagine ourselves walking over a patch of cool moss effortlessly. When it was time to do it, thousands of us moved to the outdoor area where they had set up the challenge. I was pretty nervous initially, but just kept convincing myself that I was going to be walking through a patch of cool moss. This was easy at first until the coal was inside and we could see the hot red burning embers burning in it. But ultimately I just followed the instruction and strengthened my resolve and faith and eliminated any doubt in my mind that I was going to get burnt. I had become one with fire. When it was my turn, I simply walked across the patch effortlessly and I did not feel any heat on my feet at all. It was the same for the majority of the others and my friends as well who made it through. However, I could see some people complaining, so I guess there were still some people who got burnt. Was this because their faith and resolve wasn't strong enough? I honestly don't know. I still don't know as well how I made it through without getting burnt. What I do know is that the process worked, and it was definitely a confidence booster knowing that you could walk through fire. Number 3 on the list is auto-suggestions. This is about continuously suggesting to yourself through your 5 senses on the things that you want. The idea is that when you do it so much, the thought voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. Napoleon recommends that you read aloud twice daily the written statement of your desire for money and to see and feel yourself already in possession of the money. You know how sometimes your dream feels more real than reality itself? That's because to the subconscious mind, they are both equally real. What this means is that you can trick your subconscious mind into thinking that you are already rich, and this will make it seep through to your reality as well.
It's okay that we're here.
It's okay that you're here.
Does she do that to us?
To put this into action, you want to remind yourself every day of your goals, write them down to make it real and not just a thought in your head. You want to go somewhere quiet with no one around so you don't seem like a lunatic when others see you do this.
Take a look at this.
Jesus Christ,
That right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay?
Then you want to read aloud your written statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, the time limit for when you want to accumulate it, and the description of the service or merchandise you intend to give in return for the money. And when you do this, you want to see and feel yourself already in possession of the money.
The real money.
Well, how do you make money? Which matters to you. That's how you actually make money.
Right? I don't want to crush the pogo guys. I just want to make money.
Activate all your senses in your imagination to make it as real as possible. You want to do this morning and night daily. Remember, the key here is to really put your emotions, feelings, and faith into it.
Pepe Sylvia, this name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail's getting sent back to me. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. I look in the mail, well, this whole box is Pepe Sylvia!
Next up is specialized knowledge, which is if you want to be paid a lot of money for something, you have to become an expert at it. This specialized knowledge is what's going to give you an edge over the others. This is what separates you. Napoleon states that the accumulation of great fortunes calls for power, and power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge.
And which truth is that?
Knowledge is power.
But that knowledge does not necessarily have to be in the possession of the man who accumulates the fortune. What this means is that you don't have to be the person with the specialized knowledge for everything, but you just need to have access to them. This is true for a lot of the CEO out there. Napoleon showed an example in his book where Henry Ford was being endlessly questioned by an attorney on trivial matters, where he finally had enough and said, if I should really want to answer the foolish question that you have just asked, or any of the other questions that you've been asking me, let me remind you that I have a row of electric push buttons on my desk, and by pushing the right button, I can summon to my aid men who can answer any question I desire to ask concerning the business to which I am devoting most of my efforts. Now, will you kindly tell me why I should clutter up my mind with general knowledge for the purpose of being to answer questions when I have men around me who can supply any knowledge I require? End of quote. Another prime example of this is Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba and China's richest man.
Yeah, I never worry about the things that I cannot solve. I left other people to solve it. If nobody can solve it, just let it be. That's my life. Yeah, AI, I hate the word AI called artificial intelligence. I call it Alibaba intelligence.
Yeah. Might end up being true. You never know.
It's so difficult to predict the future. 99.99% of the predictions that human being had in the history about the future, all wrong.
Including that one?
Oh yeah. Only, the 0.00% of the prediction are right. They're right because by accident.
Yeah, but it's also true that 80% of statistics are false.
Yeah. So my meaning is
Cold
that
room. Come on, guys. That was a joke.
computer only have chips. Men have the heart. It's the heart where the wisdom comes from. So I think when people talk about AI, say human being will be controlled by machines, I never think about that. I think it's impossible, right? It's impossible because. Okay, yeah. My view is that computer may be clever, but human beings are much smarter.
Yeah, definitely not. Okay.
Q, right? In the future, if you want to survive in this world, you have to be the LQ, the Q of love. That's important too. Otherwise, you cannot survive in artificial intelligence time.
Well, I agree with love is the answer.
Yeah.
Many songs about that.
No offense to Jack Ma, who is a brilliant person in his own ways, but I think this goes to show that you don't need to know everything to be successful. He probably has the brightest minds in AI working under him, and that is sufficient. Alright, so the takeaway is that you have to choose what you are going to specialize in, do an accurate assessment of yourself, and play to your strength. For the other areas that you are lacking in, partner up or hire someone that is strong in that area to make up for it. This is especially important if you are an entrepreneur or running a business. One of the biggest things that stops a business from scaling and growing is that the founder is a control freak and tries to do everything on his own, but he only has so much time and things that he can focus on. Number 5, imagination is key. Most successful people imagine themselves winning well before they do. Napoleon describes two forms of imagination, which are synthetic imagination and creative imagination. Synthetic imagination is where you arrange old concepts, ideas, or plans into new combinations. This works well with materials from experience, education, and observation, and this is the faculty most used by the inventor. The second form of imagination, the creative imagination, is what Napoleon describes as the direct communication with infinite intelligence. It is the faculty through which hunches and inspirations are received. This is also the faculty to communicate with the subconscious minds of other men. I suppose this is where people with high empathy fit in, where they are more in tune with others. Napoleon also says that both types of imagination can be trained with frequent use. I think there are also ways to induce a heightened or altered state of imagination or consciousness with the use of certain substances. There are tons of stories of how some of the greatest discoveries or artists or musicians make their best works while in that state.
Technologies. Infotron. Cloud-based disruptive platforms. Disrupting the cloud. Oh, I said cloud twice. Shit.
Scientists also did an experiment on basketball players where they had a group who did actual physical training and compared their performance results against another group where they didn't do any training literally but just imagined themselves practicing. What the scientists found was that even though the group that actually did the training performed better, the group that just imagined themselves practicing without actually practicing also fared pretty well. To apply this principle, you should visualize yourself having already achieved your burning desire. Think to yourself how life would be, what you would be doing. To hone your imagination, you could do a journaling practice where you write down 3 things every day on the imagination topic of your choice. Once you do this often enough, ideas should be coming to you more frequently and easily. Number 6 is organized planning. This is where you take the more free and abstract stuff from your imagination and put it into something concrete and organized. This is about having a definite and practical plan through which your ideas and imagination can be transformed into reality. Your dreams will remain as dreams until you realize them. What you have to do is to write down your goals, then write down where you are now, and create a map for how to get to that goal. Write down the resources you need, manpower or team, the necessary tools or infrastructure required. Ideas can be fleeting, but once you write them down, they are captured and you can revisit them again over and over. This brings us on to number 7, the Mastermind Alliance. Napoleon describes his plan building exercise as first allying yourself with a group of as many people as you need for the creation and carrying out of your plan. This is essentially building your own mastermind. Decide what value you can offer to other members of the mastermind in return for their cooperation. This can be in the form of monetary compensation or a collaboration or think tank where everyone benefits from the ideas formed in the mastermind. Next, you want to arrange to meet with members of your mastermind at least twice a week until you have perfected the plan. The last step would be to maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member of the mastermind group. Essentially, you don't want to have a civil war like the Avengers. Everyone has enough problems of their own and nobody has time for extra drama. To form your mastermind, you should look for your members in places where they are likely to hang out. This can be activity clubs, forums, Facebook groups, university alumni. Technology has made it much easier to connect with others. There are tons of collaborative tools out there as well, like Slack and GitHub. Number 8 is to eliminate procrastination. We all know procrastination is the thief of time. It is the opposite of decision, and decisions should be made quickly and decisively. Majority of people who fail to accumulate money are generally easily influenced by the opinions of others. They let the media and the gossiping neighbors do their thinking for them. Napoleon therefore believes that your own desire should be strong enough to allow you to make quick, decisive decisions without letting others' opinions sway you. His exception to this rule is if the opinion is from someone in your mastermind, where he emphasizes again on the selection of this group and that you only choose those who will be in complete sympathy and harmony with your purpose. To eliminate procrastination, there are several methods to do so. The first will be to break the task up into smaller chunks and just start doing the first bit of it. This helps you overcome the mental barrier of starting on a task if it seems overwhelming, and once you get started, it becomes a lot easier to continue doing it. For instance, if you want to write a book, it will be easier to tell yourself, I will complete a paragraph by noon, rather than I will complete a chapter by today. Another method is to simply build a habit where you just keep doing what you have to do and not rely on motivation or inspiration as those things come and go. You can use a Pomodoro timer to set aside a block of time where you fully focus on the task at hand. Number 9 is persistence, which is an essential factor to your success. The core of persistence is the power of will. If you have a solid, unyielding will, then you'll see to it that you'll finish what you set out to do. Sometimes we see people with great fortunes as stubborn or arrogant, but they are often misunderstood. What they have is willpower mixed with persistence, which ensures that they never give up on their plans. Here is a list of legendary people who have persistence to never give up. Thomas Edison failed 2,000 times or more before inventing the light bulb. Colonel Sanders got rejected by 1,009 restaurants before he got his first yes to KFC. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishing houses before Harry Potter got accepted. Sylvester Stallone was rejected by talent scouts over 1,500 times. So you can see that persistence and grit pays off in the end. Oftentimes you'll see all these celebrities and big names on the media living the life. What you don't see is how they got there, the hardships they had to endure before they strike it big. According to Napoleon, there are 4 simple steps which lead to the habit of persistence. 1. A definite purpose backed by burning desire for its fulfillment. 2. A definite plan expressed in continuous action. 3. A mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, friends, and acquaintances. 4. A friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage one to follow through with both plan and purpose. These are the 4 steps that are essential for success in all walks of life. Last principle, number 10, is the subconscious mind, which consists of a field of consciousness through which every thought through any of the 5 senses are classified and recorded. It is like a filing cabinet that stores all of that. This is like your source code, which is always running in the background without you really being aware of it. Napoleon states that while you cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, you can voluntarily hand over it any plan, desire, or purpose which you wish to have transformed to concrete form. He also mentions that only emotionalized thoughts have any influence upon the subconscious mind. Here's a list of 7 major positive emotions that you should draw upon and 7 major negative emotions that you should avoid. The 7 major positive emotions are desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope. There are of course other positive emotions, but these are the 7 most powerful and the ones most commonly used in creative effort. The 7 major negative emotions are fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, and anger. Napoleon then mentions something very interesting, that positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. Therefore, it is your responsibility to make sure positive emotions make up the dominating influence of your mind. By cultivating positive emotions, you are, by default, keeping out negative emotions automatically. To put this into action, you have to form the habit of applying and using positive emotion. Eventually, they will dominate your mind so completely that negative emotions cannot enter it. And there you have it, guys. 10 principles of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I hope you found it useful, right? And then you can apply it to your daily life and help you think your way till you get to your riches, right? So cultivate your burning desire, have a solid plan, form your mastermind, go ahead and crush it, right? Thank you for watching, and lastly, if you've liked the video, then please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, right? It really helps me to create more content, helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps more people find the video. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.